Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another episode of the Draxx Life Podcast, where we'll chat about some of the weird and the wondrous. Let's get to the show. Alright, boys, we're live again, once again. Dude, the weeks keep coming. They come too fast. I feel like it was Friday,
almost March. It's
only
almost
a few
March.
moments ago.
Damn it.
It's
Fuck.
almost March, man. Think about that.
Yeah, I mean,
Fuck.
I was in the grocery store. I already saw Easter candy.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I was
All
like,
the
I was like, why is candy out again? I was like, is it Halloween? What? And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Easter.
Yeah. The Valentine's candy is on mega sales right now. So if
This
you
is
need
true.
candy,
This is true.
get it right now. If you need chocolate, get it right now.
How you
But-
doing, Joey? I know we can't see you, but it's good to hear you.
I'm working on that. Shit.
I mean, dude, I like that you're kind of like, it's like Wizard of Oz. You're just
No,
like
but
the wizard. We don't
It
see
does.
you.
It.
We
I have
hear
to admit, visually, it doesn't look that great. Like,
What
just
do you mean by
seeing-
that?
Like watching the video on YouTube and seeing you two guys, and then just hearing like a voice in the ether is just a little. It's off. But
Yeah,
I mean,
but that's
definitely
what I'm
it's
saying.
confusing.
You got to get on camera. That's what
Yeah, I know.
That's
I
what Chris
trust-
is saying.
Trust me, I know.
Do it next week, next Friday. Next
That's-
Friday, you're on camera, for better or
that's-
worse.
I'm not gonna.
I'm
commit to
pushing you,
that.
man, because you are a procrastinator. You'll
I
take. It'll
am.
be like 10 years from now. I'll be 50, Ugh, almost 50, and
But
then
I
you'll be like,
haven't-
"Yo, let's do a video recording." Joe, Black Don't Crackle look the exact same.
I haven't been home. That's the problem. So I need to like sort everything out.
All right, well, I'm gonna throw it out there. We'll see what happens.
All right.
Okay, so let's see. We're gonna talk about sports betting today. I'm just gonna set the table, and then pretty much since I don't watch sports and you guys are the sports aficionados, I feel like you'll have a lot more to say. But I just, it grinds my gears, so that's why I wanted to talk about it a little bit.
It grinds your gears.
Yeah.
Wow.
So okay, I'll set the scene. So for me, someone who I don't have cable and I don't really watch sports, but I did like on a couple occasions, I began to notice because I watched UFC, and then I remember there was like a year or two where I just was like taken back. I was like watching and I saw like a betting commercial, and I was like, what is going on? And then I checked because usually I will stream, and I'm a pirate, as you can see, and like I might be watching like a British stream where betting is legal. So first I checked. I'm like, is there a British accent here? No. I'm like, this is American television. And then I think I was talking to you guys where you had like I looked it up, or I was talking to you, and you guys were like, oh yeah, you can this is legal now. And it's just like since that moment, I've just like seen. It's like insane to me. Like I just see every actor is now, pushing has been essentially whored out to, promote a betting application.
Yeah.
Athletes are on all of these things. I think Matthew McConaughey is on one of these things, and it's like we know it's not like not an unheard of thing that like we know that gambling addiction is a real thing. And it's like an easy
One of the worst
addiction.
addictions.
Yeah, it's an easy addiction to fall into. And it's just kind of funny that like all of these people have their hands out to essentially promote something that it's like knowingly bad. Like it's knowingly a bad thing. It's not good. I mean, alcohol, say what you will, like I think I'd rather see you promoting your whiskey. But like gambling to me is like it's a vice that leads you down a bad road. So to me, I just find it interesting that now when I watch TV, like the commercials, the two most prevalent commercials are either pharmaceutical ads or they're betting ads. And it's like literally those are like the two main things when I watch like cable or watch like a sporting event. And to me, I just think it's kind of crazy. So I'm just curious. Like that's kind of why, I don't know. I felt like it was worthwhile to talk about because it is a change. Like it wasn't that way when we were kids. It wasn't that way 10 years ago. But now, since the floodgate is open, it's just like insane to me how hard they are promoting this activity. And there's no, like, I don't think they do I bet you there's 18-year-olds gambling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they do like there's that much of a barrier to entry that, I mean, you probably could get your dad or someone to like get you access. And now like it's a video game, but it can like ruin people's lives. And I just think it's interesting that like no one talks about it. It's like, you got the people on MMA and they're like, the commentators are like, oh, they do a sports betting app like ad in between every single pause.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, this is horrible. Like,
During the
what's going
fight,
on?
they'll put up the odds and say you can live bet this right now if you want to.
So I'm curious
Yeah.
I'm curious what you think. Like, I think it's a net bad. Some would say, well, no, let people do what they want to do. It's a free country. And I was just curious to guys to talk about it for a little bit. So that's how I set the table. I throw the ball up to whoever wants to catch it.
Joe may know more than me, but first, I think we got to get the facts on the table. Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're a current athlete playing in the league, you can't sponsor gambling. Is that true?
That is true.
You're right.
Okay,
So,
you can't.
Chris, it's not current
Okay.
athletes. It would be celebrities like you alluded to, or retired athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
So-
I thought is LeBron James still playing?
Yes.
I've seen him on commercials.
He has been on commercials.
So
with,
then that's
Kevin
not
Hart.
true.
Actually promoting the
It is
yeah?
an ad spot for
Yeah, he
a
has
betting
been.
app.
He has been.
but
So they definitely
that's,
can then.
so then I was wrong. So then that opens up the
Now they
big
can't
Pandora's
bet.
box.
I don't think
I
they
know-
can
Right.
bet on.
I know that. I know they can't bet.
but
my,
like they definitely can be a representative of. So go ahead.
Okay,
continue.
so I didn't know that. So then I was wrong. I put my hand up. I thought if you were currently an active player in a pro league, you couldn't be promoting this or be sponsored by that. But that's crazy that you
I have
could.
to look into that.
Yeah. Um,
That's insane. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's insane because it opens up Pandora's box into like you could be, uh, like the Pete Rose scandal. There was a
Oh.
Joe will know like the gambling. There was a massive gambling problem in the 70s and 80s in baseball. People throwing games. You see what I'm saying? Like rigging the scores so that for the casinos and the bookies and stuff like that. And what was that big scandal in the NBA? Oh, the referee. The referee,
Tim
I forgot.
Donaghy.
Yeah, that guy. He was openly admitted that he was refereeing games and calling certain calls to help the points, like point shaving and
Yeah.
to make sure certain teams win. So yeah, it does damage the integrity. Chris, you're right. That's what I think you wanted to get into more of the moral side of it
Correct.
in terms of like
Yes.
personal. It doesn't damage the integrity of the game though. But I'm with you on the moral side. Like gambling is one of the worst addictions. You could lose everything. Many people
Yeah.
have lost everything, and then you get in deep with the sharks, and then maybe you know what I'm saying. You ever seen Casino? So,
Yeah, exactly.
Other things can happen.
Knees get broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess, I mean, that's a good point. So, like, I was looking at it from more of the consumer standpoint,
Right.
but again, I mean, it definitely. I think the thing is this: is like you from the sports perspective, there's always gambling. Like that's why, like any of those old mafia movies, gambling is one of their cash flows. So, like, I don't think you're gonna stop it.
Numbers.
Right, I don't think that's ever gonna be stopped. Right, like there's always gonna be people who want to gamble. I do think it's kind of like. So I think you can, and it's like drugs. Like you can admit that there's people are going to use drugs. I think it's like illogical to say that people are not going to. But then again, I think there's like based off of that, you have different choices you can make. So you could just say, you can go like everything is legal, do what you want anywhere you want to do it, like to the farthest extreme, or there's maybe a middle ground. And maybe drugs is like a bad example. But like with gambling, that's my thing. It's like it's one thing to make it legal or easier to do, and then it's another to make it like now we're enticing. So it's not like, all right, people who want to gamble. It's like, all right, now this is a new market because it's like a legal thing that was once illegal. So now let's put like hundreds of millions of dollars and get like the equivalent of our Disney characters to like entice people to do this thing. And like that to me is like now they're pushers. And I just think it's like,
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. When I see these actors on this, I'm like, it makes me angry, to be perfectly honest with you. Like
Yeah,
if
I
I
can
had an
tell.
opportunity to do harm to some of them, I think I would. Like I just yeah, they're all prostitutes.
They are,
They're whores.
but I don't understand. For me, I can't wrap my
Like they
mind
have
around why they
kids.
would want to do that. But
Yeah. But go ahead. Sorry, I'm getting a
Joe,
little hot.
yeah, yeah.
Getting a little heated.
Well, I
Joe,
see that.
Simmer
Joe.
down.
I can't be telling anyone to calm down, so don't even take my advice. So Joe, you take part in this.
I do.
What is it?
Are you?
I want to get that
Yeah,
perspective.
I didn't know
Yeah.
this. Go ahead.
He gambles. Yeah.
Um, shit, it's like started during like the NFC Championship game, like maybe 2 years ago. I do it pretty much sparingly,
Okay.
mostly during the baseball season because it's like I could do it every other day, and it's like little wagers, and I choose one person and I ride it until it's no longer rideable. So I hold on.
Yeah, I've done it in Vegas casinos. I've gone
Yeah.
to sports books and done it.
Oh, okay, you have.
But I don't do the app stuff and anything like that. No.
No, like I see
So-
the appeal of gambling. Like I used to go because I lived in New Jersey. Like AC was maybe an hour drive. Like we'd go gamble, like when we were out of college or even like on summer. Like we would go. It's fun. I can see the appeal. I so like I get that, but I think like twofold is like one. I think with the apps, it's more dangerous because it's one thing if you have to go to the casino and like it's an activity and like unless you live there there's a point of which it's gonna like break you free of it versus like it's on your phone and it's designed to make you addicted just like social media.
Correct.
And now like social media can maybe destroy your life, but this can like destroy your life much quicker, right? It's like you can hook up your credit card to it. And like that's scary, dude. It's like at least with the casino, you can't do I don't think you can do things on credit. Whereas I'm pretty sure with the betting apps, Joe can tell us, can you hook up a credit card
Yes, you
to it?
can. Yes, you
That's
can.
terrifying. That's insane. That is I'm getting angry, dude. I'm getting angry.
You know
You
what's
can-
funny though?
You
I
can
was
do
hoping you
cash
were gonna-
advance.
I was
Sorry,
hoping
Joe.
you were going to tell me that was not real. That
No,
you
go
couldn't
ahead,
hook up
Joe.
a credit card.
Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
No, you can. I'm mildly embarrassed to admit this, but you can do cash advances at casinos. I've used credit at casinos, and then you get hit with that 30% interest charge.
Oh.
Woo! But luckily I won my money back. I was down big, so I was like, I gotta go for broke. But it speaks to your point, Chris. It's bad. When you go down that well, it can go deeper.
It
It
goes
can
deeper.
go,
Yep.
yeah. So go ahead, Joe.
So the crazy part is New Jersey started the whole thing. State of New Jersey, they sued the federal government
Oh,
because
yeah.
they felt it wasn't unfair that Las Vegas or Nevada had the whole game, and this is during the financial crisis. So New
Oh
Jersey
yeah, I know
needed
this.
New Jersey needed extra revenue, so they sued the federal government and they won like 9 years later, which is crazy. And in 2018 they allowed sports betting, and all these states like just rushed in, and it's all because of New Jersey trying to bail out Atlantic City.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know in because I mean, think about it, it was the gambling mecca till Vegas came,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I imagine Atlantic City specifically took a huge hit. I didn't realize that you could only do sports betting in Vegas, though. I thought you could do it in AC and other casinos, so that's interesting. But like, when did you guys notice the move to like? Were there always apps in like the UK
The UK has always had it.
online, but like online,
Yes.
like app based for like years and years?
I don't know if I doubt that because
Yes.
I think from my perspective, everything kind of blew up because of smartphones and things like that. So I don't know if they always had it, but they in terms of apps and things like that. But I know they've always had sports betting.
Well, that I know. I mean, that I know because there was sports betting commercials for years and years. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah,
in
they had
England.
websites before smartphones came out. You can go on a website.
So,
Yeah.
like, what do you like? This is just starting, so I'm just very curious. Like, like the next generation, I really do like. There's some areas that I worry, but like it's not even the next generation. I think we talked about this once before. Like there's certain societal choices that have been made, and like they have not been on the shelf long enough to really see the consequences. Like we're just, I think, as a society, determining that like social media like has a net negative, like because it hasn't been around that long, and I think we're start like now enough data is starting to accumulate where we're like, I don't know if the pros are worth the cons because there's like actual cons. Like the sports betting thing is like another. It's in the umbrella of social media. Like I don't like. I'm just curious. Like how many people have that gene that makes gambling like dangerous, and now it used to be you were limited by geography, and now literally it's like anyone can download the app from the app store, plug in their debit card, credit card, and go to town. Like I don't know, to me that just is like it's kind of a terrifying
Yeah,
thing.
the
Like I don't see how it
accessibility
could
is
end
bad.
well.
I have to
Yeah.
check in with Ahmed and some of my British friends, but I'm pretty sure they just made a law where you can't do that through apps anymore in the UK. You have to go into a sports betting facility and actually put up cash. You can't do credit cards. I think they just started tweaking things there as opposed to how Wild West it is over here.
Oh, really? So they identified that there
Hmm.
were
I didn't
this
know
was
that.
a destroyer of worlds, and now all of that investment
Holy shit.
capital has just moved to America, and they're just gonna like eat the youth until someone passes the law that stops them from doing it. Woo.
I think the everything kind of it's like a perfect storm. Like I remember Rob can point this out too. When I started, it was really more just fantasy football, fantasy baseball, and that's kind of like the gateway to all of this. And then you have all these apps and the internet. It just makes everything easier to get started.
Yeah.
So you just see this explosion of just betting on simple things like live wagers on like an at bat for one particular game, and it's just the deck is so kind of slanted against the wagerer. You wonder how deep everything is going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true, but it's also become people's lifestyles now. People are career sports gamblers now. That's what they do for a living. That's
Yeah.
what they do.
Or they're
And
analysts of
Hmm.
or
sports betting.
I had
correct.
this lady.
Yeah.
She bought like this souped up MacBook Pro, and she told me she was like a competitive sports gambler. I'm thinking, what in the fuck
Mhm.
is going on here? How do you think to make a career out of this? And how sure are you about doing this for a career? It's just weird to me.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you, Corvo, a lot on like the personal side of it. It's just another thing that we're gonna pile on, and it's gonna be tougher for the younger generations to get through it because that's just another temptation that it's gonna be not just distract them, but people are gonna get in a lot of trouble, and a lot of things are gonna happen because of it in terms of like spiritually and personally. But
Yeah. I was talking.
now,
Go ahead. Sorry.
good. But I'm going to pose a question. No, you go first because I have a question to pose.
No, no. Ask your question.
Uh,
Go ahead.
so my question is, why do you both think that it has gotten to this point? What makes it appealing in sports? Because I have my own theory.
Go ahead, Joe.
Joe?
And then, because you actually do sports betting.
Yeah,
I think it's always been there. Like I can remember
yeah.
just watching baseball. You always hear the story of like the Black Sox scandal. It's always there. People want to
Yeah, I remember that.
be able to add like a little spice and
Yeah.
excitement to a sporting event that they're already watching. They want to make some money off of it. There's always some kind of like thing there with sporting events to make things a little bit more interesting than it already is.
Yeah, I think that's right. That's why that's kind of the road I was going to go on. It makes a mundane, run of the mill, middle of
Yeah.
the season game exciting because you got a lot riding on it.
Yeah, I mean,
So
gambling does. I mean,
yeah,
it's fun. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's for me, that's the danger. It's
it
like
is fun.
drugs.
Yeah,
It's not because drugs are not fun. It's that people enjoy them, and that's why there's like the addictive element. So I think that's with gambling. Like, I've gambled with friends over like a UFC fight, and it does make you more invested in
Hmm.
like the game. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Draxx Life Podcast. As you can see, the headphones are on, so I just got done recording. And if you enjoyed the show, if you enjoyed listening to two madmen just speak nonsense, then please take a moment to hit like and subscribe. It definitely helps. But without further ado, I lead you back into the program. Hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Peace. It heightens the entertainment, especially like you said, Joe. If it's like a mid-season game that doesn't have any like great value to like their standing, right? It's going to make you watch more closely. So like I definitely see, and I mean human beings like to gamble. Like any opportunity to gamble, there is someone gambling on it, from sports to whatever. Like they were gambling over the last election, right? Like there was people betting
hmm
money on who would win and different seats and whatnot. So like I think it's kind of there's a human element to it that a psychologist would need to kind of explain. Um, that's the thing. I think it's with the sports betting and the app-based sports betting. The only thing holding it back was the law, because all of these businesses knew that if there was no law, this is a viable business.
Hmm.
This business will. It's like a drug dealer, right? The only thing that stops like other people from dealing drugs is that you can go to jail for a long time, and even then that just weeds out some of the low hanging fruit. A lot of the big ones are like, it's worth it because we're gonna make billions and billions of dollars. So like I think with the sports betting thing, it's like, to me that's like the nefarious part of it. It's like it is a drug pusher, right? That's been legalized, and now it's like once that barrier was removed, you just saw like sharks hunting, right? Because they know they're gonna make billions and billions of dollars because this thing, it's beyond like a choice. Like there are people who I think genetically like are wired, like they know they're gonna get hooked, and it's just like we know we're gonna make money. It's guaranteed. It's almost funny to me that they hire and they spend millions of dollars to get these like a LeBron James. You don't need them. Like honestly, you don't need them. You're gonna make millions, if not billions of dollars. Um, Yeah, and that's the thing to me. So it's like if that's legal, just make drugs legal, because like essentially in my mind, it's just a game of vices. What it's no different. People lose homes and families break up over gambling, just like over drugs.
To answer your previous question, it is illegal for James or any active athlete to do these ads. I think there's some kind of loophole for him to do it. Maybe it's a cross sport ad thing, or maybe he actually is maybe an investor in one of
mm
um these online
But
sporting
that to me is even
things. But
worse, right? It's like, so you are an investor, you have equity in this company. Like that would mean that you have a conflict of interest in any game you play.
mhm.
So let me ask you this question. This goes back to the sports, what you brought up, Rob. Like, all right, there's like an underlying belief that when you watch sports on TV, that there's sportsmanship. Like there is like an unwritten rule that like everyone is going to be above board and play the game, and there's no cheating. Like, is
hmm
that just literally a lie for the peasants? Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, dude, is that just a bullshit? Is that just a lie? Because they're making millions and millions of dollars, right? Like, and we trust that things are above board. We trust that there's nothing nefarious. We trust that it's not like the WWE and there's not someone pulling strings, right? Like, I mean, it does, because then sports betting is even more ridiculous, because it's like if you're a multi-billion-dollar company, you're telling me that you can't, in some senses, make the future happen. Or you're an athlete and you're like, you know what? All right, dude, friend of a friend, go lay this $1 million bet for me. And I'm just gonna not play as well as I could play. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like it's
mean,
too
that
like
has
how does that
happened.
that's definitely happening.
Yeah. There's been some NBA players, NFL.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know about NFL, although I know a
I got
bunch of
two
NFL
stories. Yeah.
players got suspended but I know there's like a couple of NBA players that got suspended. One I think for life for
Yeah.
actually tweaking his game because he was in deep with some like loan sharks.
Well, and
Ooh,
that's like
yeah.
danger, but now like you could do it anonymous. You know what I mean? Like now it's an app. You could literally get your, your second cousin to do this place's bet for you. There's nothing
But
illegal about that.
these leagues can track them. They can track if there's money going from a player to someone else. They track what they're doing,
I mean, I just think
and they look for
I
patterns
think there's
too.
definitely workarounds that you could do that. Like
There's
how? But
ways to
anyway,
disguise it. Yeah.
go ahead, Rob.
Joe, do you remember the movie Blue Chips? Chris, have you ever seen Blue
I
Chips?
haven't seen Blue Chips. I heard of the name though.
Did this come out in like the early 2000s?
Yeah, I think
No, like mid '90s
90s.
actually.
Oh.
What
Yeah,
was the
Nick.
plot?
The plot was what you were describing. It's a big time college basketball program. Shaq is on the team, and Penny Hardaway is on the team. Yeah, Shaq. It's actually a good movie. Nick Nolte is the coach.
Oh my god.
um, and there's this guy. He's called a friend of the program, and he's just like a what's the word booster.
Mhm.
So he's just like the money guy, and he bought off one of the players to throw one of the games to like shave points and make sure the betting odds so that everyone made money. And now it's coming true because there's two soccer players that got suspended for a year. Um, one was plays they both play in England. One is Italian and one is English. Ivan Toney and Sandro Tonali. But Tonali did it when he was in Italy, when he was in Milan.
Interesting.
And they admitted to betting on their own games. So he was in a game that he bet on. And obviously that's going to affect your performance. And they finally confessed to like kind of not playing the way they should, just so the score line could be what they needed it because they had money on the game. And they got caught and they got suspended for a year. So yeah, what if if that's happening at a high level, we're talking Serie A, the top division, Italy, English Premier League, the top league. The Premier League is the top league in England. If that's happening at the top, what's happening in the other divisions in the league? It's probably
Yeah.
rampant.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like I think a lot of the value, like what sports is all behind, is that you trust that the athletes, their competitive drive to win, that is like the only, and then whatever guardrails that exist
Yeah.
within like the commission, like I mean, that's really what, like, that's the whole point. It's just like the reason why when you watch a Super Bowl, every athlete who plays, well, I'm not saying all of them are leaving, getting paid good money. Right?
Mhm.
Like, are you that, so like you trust that like their competitive desire to win is going to affect like how they play, that when they lose, they actually are like grieved by it? Because the reality is that like most athletes, I imagine, who are playing in the NFL are making more money than the average plumber. May Maybe not, but I think that
No,
most of them are
they are.
making
They are.
a few hundred
Yeah.
K at the very least,
Easily, yeah.
right? To play a sport of which they really enjoy playing. So like they're winners regardless if they lose or win. But your hope is that they're so competitively driven that like that desire is like what makes them want to fight hard. Because you know what I'm saying? Like they're like at the end of the day, at the Super Bowl when it's done, most of those people are millionaires. Like, and they, peasants watch them play a sport of which no matter whether they won or lost, they made millions of dollars, right? So like what keeps the game pure is like that, you hope, is like that drive, that sportsman, the desire to be a sportsman, right? But like I wonder if sometimes if that's all like a lie that's like taught to us. But in reality, it's like no, it's about money, because again, this is like the entertainment business. Like sports is the entertainment business.
Mm-hmm.
It's a subset of the
Sadly,
entertainment
it's
business.
true now.
And entertainment business, the goal is to make a lot of money. So then how do you trust if it's actually sports anymore?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's in terms of sports now, it's becoming more entertainment than actually competition and wanting to win
Yeah.
the like championships and trophies. Um, And I think that's the advent of social media and now sports gambling coming in. It's all about brands and fashion and marketing and monetizing content, maximizing profit. It's less about when we were growing up, where like the glory was in winning the championship.
That's the real
Now,
glory.
yeah, and now now it comes from, I'm the most popular player on X team or Y team or Z team. And Joe, I want to ask you this question. Are you feeling that same thing? Like in terms of sports, it doesn't matter now that you win championships. It's more for the gambling. It's more for the commercialization of it. As long as you have cool, fashionable, trendy players on your team, it doesn't matter if you win or not. You're going to still make money. It's like
It's
individual player
Yeah.
teams. Yeah.
Like
it's
you could be a less of an like not as
Yeah.
good, but like if you have a storyline and
Exactly. It's like
you look
wrestling.
good
It's
or you
like
have a
wrestling.
presence and you can say some one-liners, like
Yeah.
is that enough to kind of
It's like
carry
pro
you
wrestling.
through?
Yeah, exactly.
I think for certain franchises, winning championships is the only thing. But for most franchises, they don't think that way, and I don't think it's always been. I don't think it's ever been that way. I think most franchises just want to make money and they want to entertain their fans. It's only like a few, like the Lakers, the Yankees, those type of franchises, or the used to be Manchester United. Those kind of franchises,
Horrible now. They're
they
awful.
they want to win championships at any cost. But most of them just want to make their fans. They want to keep them
Yeah,
entertained. They want
exactly.
to keep them tuned in so that they can continue to make money. And that's all they care about. And you can see it too with these franchises. Some of them actually own a piece of these sports betting companies, and they have like sports books inside their stadiums. These are things you would never see before, never even imagine that would happen 50, 75 years ago. And this is kind of exploding now.
Yeah.
I'm getting angry.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to see you get so worked up about this. I did not. I
I
was
feel you. I hear it though.
Because, dude, you know what it
Yeah.
is, Joe? It's like, because I'm like, you and I probably differentiate on like politically and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. Like, and also I'm pretty like libertarian.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm very much for business, but I do think like there is a downside. Like, and I will admit it. Like, there are like areas of which if you make them legal, like even if they're bad for people, like if you remove that legal gate, it's like let us feed on this population as long as we can until a law gets put in place again that stops us, and there's no like moral check. Like we talk about this, like pornography, dude. Like I saw something recently about like Pornhub and how like, dude, their dirty dealings, like they have been knowingly peddling like underage pornography, like essentially sexual assaults, and like if you or a victim and you try to get your material removed, they just like make it nearly impossible. So it's like here's a business that's like feeding on a vice because it's a vice,
Mm-hmm.
and like are just like eating souls, and like they don't care, right? You know what I'm saying? And like with sports betting, it's kind of like the same. It's the same. It's like this is not good. Like it's going to affect all of these things. Like if it grows, sports is going to slowly deteriorate. This is why I also think team sports are dropping, and like one-on-one sports, combat sports,
Yes.
golf of
Yes.
all things, like NASCAR, F1, Formula 1 racing, cuz like someone's going to punch you in the face. Like most people are not going to be willing to take a dive. Like it's embarrassing and it's going to hurt. So like people want to see that like authenticity, and then they don't care if you have a personality because you got to go in the ring and like back it up, or like, but with these team sports I think you're seeing like viewership drop, and I almost wonder if it's part of that. Like they've just become like entertainment, like where the commercials, like it's just about commercials, about you know
Yeah. Ratings.
endorsements, the ratings, and like I think you see that that there is something people are leaving. But again, it's the betting thing is just like, yeah, it's like these are the areas where I'm like I think the government should tell people to stop. Like this is bad for people. Like, you know that people are going to lose their lives over this thing. Like, people are. An 18-year-old that starts betting at 18 is probably not going to stop. Like, now that's a vice they have with them their whole life. So when they're 18, they're making $5 bets. When they get a job, hopefully, may make $20 bets or $100 bets. Like, it's a growing demon inside them. And to me, it's just, I don't know. It's when I see these athletes and I see these like actors and stuff, I'm like, you guys are whores. You're prostitutes. You are peddling something that you know is not good. Like, who says that sports betting like is a net positive? Like, if you met someone who's like, yeah, I'm betting hundreds of $1,000s a year, like, most people are going to be like, it's not a good thing. I don't know. I'm rambling, but it makes me angry. It does make me angry.
Yeah, no, I hear it. I, but for me, it is a little tempting because it does make ordinary games more interesting.
Of course.
I think that's the key. But overall, what it has to affect on you as a human being when you're developing, it's good. It is frightening. It's the
I
same
mean,
thing, like you said, with adult content. It's the same thing. It's
all
so
vices make
accessible.
life better
It's
or
so
more enjoyable
Yeah,
in the
but Chris,
moment.
now the accessibility in
Correct.
2025 it's the fear. That's what makes it dangerous. It's so
Yeah,
easy.
I mean, because that's the thing is, you could literally be on your phone
Yeah.
making bets, and then what happens? You make a bet, make a bigger bet, you lose, and
So
now,
you make a bigger bet. Yeah,
yeah, okay, I
exactly.
got it, and then you're in a hole, and it's like now you have 10,000. Imagine being 18, and like, I don't think it's that crazy for you to find out that now you owe 10K. You made
I
a two
bet
hundred
you
dollar
that
bet. You lost it. You're like, oh, I gotta try to get it back. Like, people do this in casinos. You can go to a casino and
I've done
literally
it. Yeah.
watch it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's happened to me personally. I know. You're exactly right. And I bet you there's 18-year-olds with like massive gambling debt right now. Right now.
I think from
Yes.
what I saw, the peak demo is like 23, 24 to like 35. That's the biggest group that's seen a sharp increase in online sports betting in the US.
Yeah, but are they? What's the percentage? Do you know? I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just saying. Do you know what percentage of those are successful, or,
I
or
did I did read this. It's crazy the percentage.
mhm.
5% are
Look at that.
of gamblers actually have over a year actually come out on top. Most people, the remaining
Of course.
percentage, like 54%,
Mhm.
they have they're in the negative, and they fuel the profits that most of these companies make. And then the rest of the group, they're in the black.
Yeah, that's crazy. And
That's insane.
to Chris's point, these
Like,
celebrities and athletes or some retired athletes are selling you a dream that you could have this
yeah,
wonderful life if you just put a couple $100 on this game. It
yeah.
could change your life. They're selling you that dream. It is kind of disgusting.
Dude, Kevin
But
Hart's a prostitute. Like, he
yeah.
is a whore. I
He's
hope
one of
that,
the
like,
biggest ones. Yeah.
this will not be sent. Like, this is, no one will watch this and send it out. But like, I would love for him to see this, because, like, dude, how do you not? Like, how do you not? Like, I get it. Like, if someone's gonna pay you millions of dollars to promote something, but there's gotta be a limit. Like, I hope in my soul that there is a limit to what I would peddle for millions and millions of dollars in like in promoting in payments to being a promoter. Like, you have to draw a line somewhere. You're already a multimillionaire. You're already wealthier than the vast majority of the people in the country you live. How much more? So if prostitution becomes legal and there's a prostitution app, are you going to like hop on board and start to sell that? If you can sell your babies to people, like, and it becomes legal, are you going to become a promoter for that? Like, do you have no shame? Like, are you that big of a worshiper of money that you would like,
Yeah.
nothing's off bars as long as it's not illegal? I don't care. I will promote anything. I call that a prostitute. Actually, there needs to be a worse word, because at least a prostitute, they're deciding to sell them. Like, I almost want to say that's better. I'm being derogatory to prostitutes.
Yeah, because they actually need the money. Is that where you're going for?
Yeah, I actually, let me change the word. They are parasites because I
Yeah.
hate a parasite. I hate a
Okay.
leech, a tick, a bed bug. They are the bed bug of the world. Like they are
He's not
feeding
wrong. He's not wrong.
off of the population. I don't know. It makes me really angry. Like I'm telling you, I'll be
Never
watching like
It's
some
exploitation.
I was
Yeah.
watching like the Super Bowl. I don't watch sports, and I'm just like every other commercial sports fan. And they're always an actor. They're always a big $1 million actor, like a Matthew McConaughey, a Kevin Hart, a Rock level. People who have more money than they know what to do with, and it's like, it makes me angry.
Yeah, no, you're right. There is a prostitution app, Chris. It's called OnlyFans.
At least with that, I mean,
There
I
is.
almost want to say that
It
it's
exists.
not even as bad, but I still think that's bad too.
No, it's bad. It's really bad. It's really bad.
The crazy part is all these states they're jumping in. I think there's 40 out of 50 states that have online sports betting, and most of them they justify it because of the taxes, the tax revenue that they get from it.
Hmm.
So I don't know if this is going to go away anytime soon.
No,
Yeah,
it won't.
And to both of your points, this only happened within like the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
In pre-COVID, so like 2019, before everything went to shit, uh, there was only like 2 or 3 states that you can actually sports gamble in. I think New Jersey was one, Nevada, maybe Florida. Like a sports, like you had to go, but you had to go to the actual sports, like the sports book in the casino. And then within the last 4 years, now 40 states, and you can do it on an app.
So I was talking to someone the other day about this, and like he brought up an interesting point. He was like, he thinks that sports betting is the next Ponzi scheme because
It already is.
because you think about it, he's like, can you really think they could cover all of those bets?
It already is, Chris.
Yeah,
They're
and who
using
else?
AI to. So the
But you're
bettors,
you're assuming even that the odds that they display are accurate.
that's exactly the point. They're using AI to tweak what the odds are to specific gamblers. So if there's gamblers that win a lot,
Really?
yeah, if they're gamblers that win a lot, they tweak their AI so that they don't
Yeah.
have as many larger odds to win, or they shut them out completely. They can't bet for like a few months.
That's insane. Like, how is this? Oh man,
I didn't know that. Wow.
this makes me so it makes me so angry.
So
It-
it's
it
what you're
makes me
saying is
incredibly
it's specifically engineered for people to lose money and for
Yep.
them to make money.
Yep.
Then
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, again, like, what happens if for some reason there was some epic, like black swan event, like some bet that's just like so ridiculous, something happens that's just unpredictable, and they can't cover the bets because you got to think about it, there's billions of dollars. I mean, on the Super Bowl night, there was probably billions of dollars flowing in and flowing out of these systems. And like you're trusting that they can cover all of these bets, but like there's no one auditing them, right? And what happens if they couldn't? They go bankrupt, right? Like all of these people are out their money.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would imagine, like at least with the old school like bookie, if you found out that he was finagling the odds, I imagine that guy got right. Like I'm just saying, like if your local bookie, who's maybe connected to the mob, but you find out all of these people find out that he's been like messing with the numbers, that's bad for business, right? They're gonna go someone else, or that
Yep.
dude's gonna get his legs broken himself.
Yeah, it's called the shakedown.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like there's an element of what is the word I'm trying to think? Honesty there on both parties, right? But with these systems, you don't know who you're gonna go customer service. Hey man, I think that there's some shenanigans here. And then it's like gonna get answered by like ChatGPT. Oh, we'll get
Yeah,
back
you're
to
gonna
you know
talk
what I
to a
mean? It's like,
robot.
come on, man. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're gonna talk to a robot. And back in the day when it was bookies, and you gave that mob or a bad name, so they're getting it from both sides, not just the better, but the one who's organizing it. It's like, yo, we're losing clients,
Correct.
and then the bosses are coming after you too.
Yeah, because I mean, at least if there's a couple bookies in the neighborhood, you're like, this guy the odds are
He's-
not right here. He's doing something wrong. All right, we're
Yeah.
gonna go to we're done messing with Johnny. We're going to go to whoever. We're
Tony.
gonna go to Billy Boom Bots over here and take his bets.
Tony
again,
cold cuts.
Yeah, man. I just think some of the stuff is like there's kind of like I don't know. I think my issue is even more so. It's less about the betting and more about like the 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 uh the whores, man, the leeches.
So
they bother me.
your umbrage is more with the people they're peddling it.
I think I am. I think it really is.
Yeah.
Like when I see Matthew I think he's one of the advertisers.
I don't know
makes
if
me.
he is. I don't know if he is.
Oh, man,
I know
we
there's
should-
like
No,
the-
I know. I think he's only doing Uber Eats.
Someone
Yeah,
Google
which,
this because
to
he
be
does.
honest,
He does Salesforce. I think he does Uber Eats, and I thought he did a sports betting.
I think that's about it, but it's
Then I
confusing because
apologize.
all of those ads
Yeah.
kind of seem intertwined. So I can understand that.
Yeah, so he's basically in the tech. He's in the tech pool of advertising. Don't slander McConaughey. I won't stand for it.
I think it's Jamie Foxx, Kevin Hart.
Yeah,
I think those are the two.
Kevin Hart is the biggest one.
I think it's actually
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx. Hey,
Could-
that-
Oh yeah,
that's-
he's
oh,
MGM, right? He's
Yeah.
MGM. Yeah, JB Fox had a commercial where he's in a Formula One car driving around telling you to bet, telling you to lose your wife, lose your house. Go ahead. The kids can't go to college. Just bet at MGM app.
So
Fuck that guy.
I think the
But I hope he's
genie-
doing well though. He was having health problems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the genie's out of the bottle. I think what they
The Rock. Goodness gracious.
Yeah,
Really?
another
I-
one.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I
Um,
actually literally someone wrote a Medium article, celebrity endorsements in the gambling industry, and list them.
I want to
all.
read that actually. Wow.
Go ahead, keep going,
Yeah.
Joe.
They should limit. Actually, not limit.
David
Ban.
Schwimmer from Friends.
That's so
You
weird.
whore.
That is weird. They should ban advertisements, especially during games. That should not be a thing. They should restrict how much time you can have on a sports betting app. If anything, probably even get rid of the apps. But I know I feel like a lot of people will go crazy if that happens. But restrict the time you can do that. You should push more for going to a particular facility to do it, so you don't get in deep. You can only put in cash. You can't put in credit cards. You can't put in accounts and siphon off money from friends and family members. Then I think there should be some guardrails in place to prevent people from getting thousands of dollars or millions of dollars in debt, from what I've seen.
Yeah, I think I'm interested to see both of yours reaction. I think the mentality of the get rich quick is so insidious in America, specifically in America.
But that's always been an American
yeah.
thing now.
But because the American dream is more work hard, to build up your wealth, pass it down to your lineage.
I don't think so.
You
Like,
think it's
look
get
at-
rich quick?
Yeah, I think look at the gold rush in like the 1840s. I think it's
Yeah.
always been like a get rich quick kind of scheme thing.
Yeah.
Especially in this country. I think it's always been there. It's just that with technology, it's just throwing everything into high gear.
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, yeah. I think
Yeah.
America is very much about like the new money idea, like where get being rich and young. Like, you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of the idea of like legacy and building like empires where it's like I'm going to plant trees that like my kids will enjoy is not like it kind of is the opposite of like the American dream. Like the American dream is like get rich, enjoy that wealth in your like 30s, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I cuz I buy into it. I've always been kind of like you look at my YouTube feed, there's definitely the get rich quick, algorithm running where you see a lot of that stuff. And I don't think I'm that like out of the ordinary.
No, it's starting to turn because maybe that's what the American dream is now. Whereas before, like post World War II, it was pull up your bootstraps, work hard, like grind and graft day after day, and then eventually your legacy will have a better life. Like your generations behind you will have a better opportunity.
Yeah.
But now you're
Yeah.
you're right. Now it's just fast and furious.
Especially, I think now with the internet, like the ability to see stories and like marketing has just hit another level. Like,
Yeah, marketing is the biggest part of everything.
yeah, like
PR.
when you go on Twitter, like for me on Twitter, I'll be honest, I got on Twitter recently, like in the last year, let's say. I got on X because I never really used X, and I don't like it, to be perfectly honest with you, because I just think I really don't like I don't see it's.
I like it.
Well, put it this way, I don't see. I think it's because it's.
But
I'll give you this my theory, and then I'll let you guys kind of finish up. I do think like nowadays people have realized the value in like branding and like marketing, and like Twitter's just everyone is marketing something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm
Mhm.
exaggerating with my numbers, but like 90% of people posting are marketing something. Like, and then that's not everyone, but a lot of people, because they just realize like there's a net value in that. Like if you can get a following, you can sell things to them. So like I just see so many people that like even if they're posting things that are just like a regular opinion or comment, if you go pull up their feed and you can just find out very quickly that they got a newsletter, they got something. Uh, Whereas like I always like Reddit because I feel like I can get information. People will answer questions if you have questions. But like yeah, marketing overall, like everyone is marketing something. You can see what people are doing. You see the face, like this whole influencer market, like you see what they're trying to present to the world, and then that just revs up everyone. Oh, you read you oh, this person made $10 million. They just did this one thing, and like that is kind of becoming like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like the younger generation is now growing up saturated with that. So like their ways of like they're not going to get a job ideally. They're going to try to find a hack to like make exponential amount of money in like a year. Like that trend, that's a new trend. Like that's not something that happened in like the 50s, right? Or the 40s, right? People became very wealthy, but they built these like empires like
Yeah,
Ford,
correct.
right? That took decades. Whereas now you just see enough stories of some young kid made this application, made this business, and like now they're a billionaire. So like whether that's realistic or not, you see that and like that feeds that kind of like belief system. Go ahead,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, actually a really good point because you don't even have to build anything. You can just post a funny video that goes viral. Look at that Haley Welch girl. She got mad famous. She
Uh,
rug pulled millions of people with
Oh,
a
this is the
coin.
Hawk Tui girl.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Now she's back. By the way, did you see that? She
No, I
came
mean,
out.
yeah, I did see her. I did see that someone had she had posted it.
Yeah, she came back. She's crying on the. Yeah, come on, but she had no idea what she was getting into. I do believe that she genuinely wasn't trying to defraud people, but
No,
uh, she
dude.
just was in over her head. Yeah,
I mean, do you think that this girl who made this one comment,
and then she became famous. That's what I'm saying. Oh, for the
like,
street interview.
also is like also a master of marketing? Like, I
Yeah.
think that's the issue. It's like we live in a digital world where marketing and branding is. There are people that are so good at that, right? So like that person then gets connected. Like she had a viral moment, and then I would imagine people reached out to her that knew how to leverage that. Then it
Whit-
becomes quid pro quo. Like we're gonna make money, but we're gonna magnify you. I think she was getting interviewed on like Barstool.
I can guarantee you
Then
yeah,
that's
someone else
exactly what
reaches
you
out
happened.
to
want
her like, "Hey, we can do a token, a coin. Do you think this girl understands anything about computer science and cryptocurrency?"
not
No,
at
she's
all.
just like, "Oh, we can make money. Okay, it's
Yeah,
you're telling me it's not
you
illegal."
know who backed her and got her started? Whitney Cummings, man. Whitney Cummings was the one who, like you said, saw the video and is like, "There's mutual benefits for both of us if you do that." I'm Whitney Cummings. I'm a household name. I'm gonna create a podcast studio for you. I'm gonna be the first guest, so you get. And that's Whitney Cummings is the one who bankrolled her to have her show, and then she rug pulled everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I do see like, yeah, I mean, we do. I, I'm trying to. Think.
Yeah,
I've
let's
never
just start
seen
calling people out
I'm
by name.
angry. I'm
I've
angry
never
today.
seen Chris so worked up in my life.
No, because
It's
here's the thing.
crazy.
Like because I'm doing I try to do e-commerce thing. So I see this. I'm trying to
Mhm.
saturate myself to learn it, and like it's almost like I'm forcing myself at times to do something I don't like. I don't innately want to do, and I to some degree think is bad. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's why when I go on Twitter and I just see all of these people are like promoting themselves. Like, why are all these billionaires now like making YouTube videos? Like, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Because it's everyone is marketing themselves. Everyone is now trying to create a brand, and it makes sense because it works. It works. Like the whole idea of paying for ads is dying. Like it's all becoming like build your brand because if I can get enough followers, I can now make money. And like it's a sad thing, but it's like real. Like that is real. If I have if I have 1 million people watching my Instagram, I can make $1 million. Like
Yeah,
that's
no,
insane. Like, and that's just a fact. Like, show me someone that has 1 million followers and is not able to make $1 million a year. Like, they're doing something wrong. It's just not even. It's not possible, right?
right.
And it's like I made a video the other day. It's like because I was going down the e-commerce rabbit hole. I'm like looking at products in China, and then I'll see like the Kardashians launch some like random product, and I'll go find that product in China at a Chinese manufacturer. They're not making anything. They're not making anything.
They're just attaching their name to it.
They're just
Mm-hmm.
branding and
Yeah.
packaging, and then they're just leveraging the fact that like people like to follow them. And then when you have people like Elon Musk, who, for better or worse, when he kind of comments on this, it's like we're not productive people. Like none of these people are making anything. They're able to just make millions of dollars off of like I don't know, stars and glitter and clouds, right? Because it's like that they're not making any. What are they doing? What are they adding to society that like allows them to become worth hundreds of millions of dollars? It's kind of an insane reality. This is why high schoolers are like, I want to become an influencer when I grow up because they're not wrong. Why would you want to become a fireman and like potentially be in a dangerous environment when you can essentially provide nothing but like I guess entertainment? And like I find myself falling into this and I'm like I don't like it. But
Then
like is
then
this just the
don't.
world we live in?
Then don't. It is the world we live in. I truly believe that. I think it's always been this way. It's just that it's
So color
super
cool.
heightened because it's in our face 24/7 now with the internet. But if you feel that you don't
Joe,
like
I
what you're
love Joe.
seeing, then don't do it. That's just my that's my philosophy.
I think you're right. I mean, I don't think you're wrong, but I also wonder it's like the alternative is then that you will it's a philosophical question. Your life will be harder
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you have to accept that's the trade-off. Like your life will be more difficult, right? But if you can somehow leverage these internet energies, like you can potentially ride that wave to like a windfall. And I think that's like what we're talking about earlier, this get rich. Like that is it. It's like everyone is trying to find like a surfing, like everyone is trying to find right. If you watch people surf, right, they watch the waves and then they watch for the right wave and then they make their move. They might wait a while for that perfect wave, and you just have a lot of people I think doing that like in this digital ocean. Go ahead, sorry.
No, that's I like that analogy. Actually, I can picture it. But now I'm just gonna ask you plain out: if who the pup, if someone is to were to offer me a $2 million sponsorship deal to promote gambling, I'm probably gonna do it though. That's the thing. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Dude, I again, I know that's like that.
So we can
Yeah,
talk shit though, but
it's a tough
like
one.
it's now where you do have a salient point is if I was already stupid rich like most of these people are, then I would be like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to be a part of that. But
I mean, I don't know because yeah, I'm the same way. Like I think about it, it's like I can't
maybe it'll
knock
change.
you.
Yeah.
I can't knock you if someone's going to offer you $10 million.
Just to
Kevin
shoot a
Hart, $10
commercial.
million for a day of your life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would they be foolish? Because it's like, what can I do with that $10 million? Like, I mean, it's a lot of people I could help potentially.
Hmm.
But then again, it's like that's why like that is how people can continue to do what they do, right? Because it's just like then there's no stopgap, right? No, it'll never stop. Because anyone can you can always make that excuse. You could be the CEO of that company. Say, well, but we do charitable and like we offload money here. It's like
Mhm.
anyone can rationalize anything to make themselves feel better. And that's
Speak.
why I imagine a lot of these actors are doing. They're like, well, it's like someone else is going to do it, right? Like I might as well do it. I'm a good guy. I can go. I donate to my local LA chapter of like Big Brother or whatever, not nonsense.
Speaking of
Yeah.
rationalization, I've read how there's some people, well, really more the lobbyists of like the online gambling companies. They feel like they put out a safer way for these people to bet as opposed to people going to bookies and people going to shadier websites or people to gamble where they could actually really be hurt instead of just losing their money.
That's a
I've
lame.
seen that. I've seen that. It is lame to me, but I've
That's
seen
lame.
that
Yeah.
rationalization.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. I mean, you could say that the same about OnlyFans, right? Like instead of going to find a prostitute on like in Skid Row, LA or wherever,
Oh
you can
man,
just pay this girl money to never touch her, and it's safer. You're not going to get a disease. You're not going to deal with a pimp. I mean, maybe there's some truth to that, but like, is that really your reasons for doing what you're doing? No,
no.
you're a lion and you see all of these gazelle of which you can feed off of. And the men with the guns, i.e., the government, have said, yeah, sure, it's okay. You can do this. Just don't kill them all. Um, yeah, dude, these people this is predatory.
Yeah, I think that's the
Like,
right word.
guys, what's the next? Let's look at vices, right? Like, drugs are still illegal. Weed is legalized. Took weed a lot longer probably to become legalized in sports
Ridiculous.
betting,
Yeah.
right? It hurts a lot less people. I don't care whether you smoke or you don't smoke. There's no way you can make the case that it hurts more people than sports betting. What's next though? Like might as well make prostitution legal for better or worse. I mean, why not? Like if you can
It almost
gamble,
effectively is.
I would almost say I would rather prostitution be legal than maybe sports betting. Um, I definitely
I don't know
would
about
prefer
that
it to
one.
be more legal than like OnlyFans. Yeah, I think so. I'll make that
Yeah.
case for better or
So
worse.
for it's one of
Like,
the
what are
most.
their vices? I'm just
It's
saying, like,
one of the most dangerous ones. It
what are
is
the vices that we can make legal? Like, what's next? I don't know.
psychedelics should be legal.
That one is like
That's a good
you
one.
have no problems with that. No one
Yeah.
is gonna ever become addicted to doing mushrooms. It's just not gonna happen.
It's impossible.
Like it's
biologically
not
impossible.
happening.
But
Yeah.
is
No
that
one is gonna
illegal?
become addicted to DMT.
Is it illegal?
Yes.
Mushrooms, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Most
Wow.
states, I think
Okay.
most states, it's considered illegal.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. No one. It's biologically
No.
impossible to get addicted to DMT.
If
or
you were a
mushrooms.
mushroom dealer, you would never have any money.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. There's no addicts.
you'd be like, yo, man, I'm gonna make mushrooms, I'm gonna make all this money, and then you would be poor. Like,
Yeah.
because it's just there's no addicts, there's no repeat. Your customers are like once a month, maybe. They're not gonna be like cocaine. They're coming every crack. They're coming every few minutes.
Every couple hours. Yeah, but that's a good point. It's like the tour guide business. Tim Dillon has a good story about that. He was doing the tours, like the double decker red bus in New York in Midtown. He's like, there's no, I did whatever I wanted because there was no repeat customers. No one is gonna do that tour twice.
Oh no, of course,
Right.
of course.
So it's like mushrooms is similar. What if you have like a crazy mushroom trip that's either really good or really bad? Like it enlightens you and you change your life. It's not like you said. It's not like you're coming back every day
No.
to do that.
You're not gonna be like, let's do that again. Let me go down. I went into the Amazon and had a near-death experience. Let's do
Exactly.
it tomorrow. No, you're like,
Yeah.
maybe a year from now, I will do this again, and I'll call up John Smith, the guy I met at like the organic food store. Like, you know what I mean? You're not doing this all the time, so like, yeah, that's why there won't be no big business for it.
Right.
But
Exactly.
think about it this way: it's like
That's why they won't make it legal.
correct
Like,
anything
right.
that like people like these businesses cost lots of money to get up and running. the only way you can justify that is if you know you're going to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not a guess. It's a race to get to market. So that's the thing. Like, they know gambling is what it is because, like, that's why they're willing to do it. They know they're going to have millions of customers, repeat customers, right? Otherwise, it would be a bad business. So, like, that's the thing. Like, you know it's addicting. It's just like how people know porn is addicting. That's why these businesses can make lots of money, right? There's just to like to leave with this one random story, and then whatever you guys want to say. Like, dude, Pornhub, it makes so much money. Apparently, they pay more money in ads than anyone else. There's a woman, an attractive woman, computer scientist. She started to post. She was posting like educational videos on YouTube. Was making like no money in revenue. Started posting the exact same videos on Pornhub, and she was making tons of money. Think about that.
Well, she's not doing explicit content; it's educational
It's the
content.
same video. It's literally she's an attractive woman teaching about AI. It's the same video, no change. The only difference is that the amount of money
different.
that she got was more money. She got more money. So that means people are watching her video. They're watching it on Pornhub. That shows you that how many more people are probably on Pornhub than YouTube, and it's insane.
Hundreds of millions more, I promise you, around the world. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
dude. These people are peddlers of vice because they know it's extremely lucrative.
That's right.
And now gambling is just it's the devils have just they got the law to be passed or unpassed, and now these leeches and demonic bedbugs are just gonna like rape a generation.
Bedbugs. Yeah, you're right. It's and also the thing with gambling is there's not really a service that's being rendered. You're just giving money and taking and betting and taking a chance on probability. You're not getting really anything unless you win. At least with OnlyFans, you're getting something. There's a service that's being rendered. You see what I'm saying? Prostitution.
At the end of the day, with prostitution, you can at least say, at the very least, I hate to be crude, you're getting an orgasm out of it. Ideally, and human interaction. Like, in essence, that is like, I'm not saying it's good, but if we had to compare two bad things, in my opinion, like, you get more. When I go buy a lottery ticket, it costs me $2. How many people will win? The odds are horrible. You get nothing, but all you get is a feeling of the potential of winning.
I think, but that's what people are hooked on. Yeah, they're hooked on that feeling.
That's what gives you the dopamine rush.
But that's like, again, that is like wires going off in your brain, and it's somehow like you couldn't even rationalize that. You're just like, I like doing this, and that's I don't know. Yeah. Anyway,
it is. I think it is that makes it particularly diabolical. It preys on your like financial hope, your and then they even use that to exploit you, and that gets back to the marketing aspect of it. It really is something. And it's not. Joe, what do you think about this? What do you think is the future of this? Is this just going to get worse? Are you just going to see live betting? Like, if you sit down at a sports event right now, you're going to be able to live bet at your seat. You can do it in Vegas at the Vegas Golden Knights game.
That's crazy.
Did you know that, Chris?
Wait, what?
You can, sorry to cut you, Joe. There's when you go to the Vegas Knights game, the NHL hockey team in Vegas, you go to the T-Mobile Arena. At your seat, you can bet on what's going to happen in the game right there from your seat on like a tablet. Yeah.
Like, to me, I think that's okay. Like, in the sense of like, I don't think betting it, like, people are adults. So like, if you go to a sporting event and you want to, it's like, you can go to a sporting event and get soda, or you can go and have beers. If you want to bet, I think it's fine. Like, I don't think, who am I to make betting illegal? But I do think they're like, this is the one area where I'm like, I do think at times government can, and again, this is me saying this, which is rare. Like, that's where government needs to kind of stop people. Like, like, I hate to say it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, an 18-year-old, like if you want to control certain businesses that can and can't exist, like a business where an 18-year-old gets nothing but a few moments of happiness, but can be in hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, theoretically, like maybe that's a business that we should like prevent
Regulate.
from
Yeah.
yeah, that we should regulate. It shouldn't be possible.
Yeah, you're
Right?
wow. Look, I never thought I hear the day that
I
fucking
know.
Chris
Yeah.
I
Corvo would
know.
want government intervention.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's surprising to me as well. But no, I've been because I've been watching sports, and it's been getting me angry because I'm just like, I see these celebrities, they're worth millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars. The Rock is worth billions of dollars,
Yeah,
and here you are, you freaking muscle bound leech, and you're gonna promote this product that like is gonna hurt people. Like it is going to hurt people. Like it is guaranteed to hurt people. It's like, are we going to make war like commercialized where you can advertise, which they already in a sense do, like to go to war, right? It's like you're promoting something that's gonna hurt. It's going to hurt people. Like I don't know that, and that
yeah.
to me is just that I kind of you can't trust capitalists are going to be capitalists. If you open a door, someone's going to walk through it if there's a way to make money. I get that. That's why I do think at times the government needs to be like, all right, we know that it makes sense. Like you can make money doing this. So it makes sense that you're going to go do it. So we need to like not allow it to be. Like I do think
I don't
sometimes
trust
maybe
the
that's
government to get that right.
I
Though.
don't.
What
So
about
like
that?
but I don't know how you stop it then because it's kind of
Yeah.
like
The
there's going
only
to be
thing,
someone who's going to like,
only
oh,
thing
okay,
that's gonna stop it is
population.
if there's a huge scandal, like another like Black Sox scandal. That's the only thing. Something that would undermine the league that had that scandal, and it'll cause a huge uproar with fans. It's the only way that's gonna happen.
Yeah, like if one of these couldn't cover a bet or, tons of people lost money. But again, it's like then someone else will just kind of reinvent the wheel and tweak it. And because again, it's something that people like. Like it's like it is a thing, right? Like people enjoy. There is a hacking of the mental system. So it's like as long as you know that the way the human brain operates is this way, I think it's hard to stop. Right? Like it's
Yeah,
drugs. You can't stop drugs. People like drugs. It affects our dopamine, all of our hormone levels. Like it makes the system react. Unless human beings stop reacting to it biologically, there's always going to be a population and potentially a large population that's going to like do it. Right? So I mean I think that's the I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but I do think Pandora. I actually thought to make an app that was like, all right, if sports betting is legal, let's make a betting app where you can bet on anything, anything.
the weather.
Rob could be like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I don't know. I'm gonna go fight this girl. I don't know.
No, let's take a step back there.
Right. I'm gonna. I don't know. Like whatever you want to do. Like I'm going to. I don't know. You work at Apple Store.
Yeah,
Sell 20 apples, and then people
yeah,
could bet on it. All right, let's see if you can do it.
yeah. That's better.
Why not? Let's just commercialize every single interaction. Like, why not?
Yeah, or yeah, no, that's actually humorous. If you can bet on, I'm gonna walk to the subway, and am I gonna catch the train on time? Yes or
Yeah.
no? What are
And
the
people
odds?
people could be
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to bet on this.
Yeah,
I'll bet on this today.
Let's see if he makes this train. Yeah,
I'm gonna get there in 4 or 5 minutes today.
yeah.
That's why not?
That's funny. That's
Why
funny.
not?
It's the same thing. It's the
Same thing. It's
So
hacking
Joe,
the same system.
yeah,
I just need to get my one celebrity leech to promote it.
yeah. Joe, we could wind
Yeah,
down
let's
here.
wrap up.
What do you think is the future of this? Back to the original question.
I think this is the future. I don't think this is going to change. I think whatever is happening here, this is like the pinnacle of like sports betting, and I think it's going to continue unless there's a huge like scandal that changes everything. And I don't see that happening anytime soon because all these sports teams and these leagues are actually bought in. They have like equity in these online betting companies, which to me that's the craziest part.
That's illegal. Should be illegal.
but they have equity in them. You would think that they want to protect the integrity of their sports leagues, their game, so they would want to have this facade of not being a part of it. But now they're fully bought in, and it's to me that's the wildest part because you could easily have one or two players be kind of tapped in and they're beholden to one of these like these sports sites, or even just like not even a site, just a person who works for them or someone outside of them who has some influence over them, and that's all it takes. And you undermine the whole system. You could crash everything where people don't have trust in betting anymore because a huge like a championship game was thrown. You can't. I feel like these leagues should not have equity in these online sports betting companies. It shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I think you're right. But what about seeing like DraftKings or something on a jersey of the team? You think that's going to happen? Like I
I mean,
think that's eventually going to happen
I
too.
think it will. I think it will.
Yeah.
Like the helmet, like Corvo, the football helmet is going to have like MGM Grand on it. It's going to be
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
I think, I mean, across the board, I think, like, look at UFC. I mean, like, they use every space, like, physically, like, on the mat, and also time wise to promote and advertise. So I think
Gambling. Yeah.
yeah, I think
And the
that's going to
trunks.
happen. So I mean, that's even gambling and non-gambling, but just like advertising and gambling, I think is becoming the bigger spender of ads. So that's whoever spends the most on ads is where the most visible time is going to go.
I
And
also think to point out something that you called out before, Chris. I think the solo sports are more. I think they're easier to bet on because there's no aspect of a team. You sometimes with the team you have to rely on other players to do their job for you to get a certain marker. But with solo sports like MMA or racing, you don't have that. So I think it's easier to just wager on those type of sports as opposed to a team sport.
I mean, probably. I would be curious, like, because I've never pulled up one of these where you can look up like UFC and see like the different types of bets you can make. But you're right. I mean, you have less variables, so the betting is going to be obviously different, but still, it's two people. Like in MMA, right? It is a team sport in a sense. Like, let's say you're betting on like number of kicks. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, right? Well, that's also like contingent on your dance partner, the ability to do those kicks to them. So I mean, it is simpler because you don't have as many players. Um, but you're right. It's probably much yeah.
Yeah.
With
There's less
football, you have
variables, is what you're
you have a
saying.
lot
Yeah.
more
Mm-hmm.
going on.
But
Yeah.
I can
Hockey,
I
right?
can
You have a lot more people going
mhm.
on, so forth and so
I
on.
can tell you from my experience. Like I wagered on Saquon Barkley during the NFC Championship game, and I think I showed you screenshots of it too, both
Yeah.
of you
You
guys.
won, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
Um, I was up, and they gave me an offer to the cash out, and I didn't do it because I figured
oh,
I was gonna win, but the coach pulled them within like the last like 10 minutes of the game because they were up by so much, so I didn't. And there's so many more variables that go into play, so you don't know
yeah.
what's going to happen. And I didn't know that the coach was going to pull him out. Otherwise, had I known, I would have cashed out and won a lot more money than I put in.
Yeah, I just see like the influence. There's no way that it won't become like a self fulfilling prophecy. Like even if you're not betting, like that doesn't mean you can't be influenced. Like imagine if you have that app and you see millions of people are betting in this direction and you're the athlete. Like I see athletes on the side, they're on their phone or something. There's nothing saying that they're not. Like you can become influenced, right? Where literally now the population betting is now creating doubt in you. Or if you're a coach, I'm not saying this is happening, but like I don't know. I mean, it just becomes a weird, like a weird scenario where maybe you're unintentionally influenced into making a decision that has some type of effect.
I think for
I
these
don't know.
athletes, a lot of them just care about winning and the
I,
thrill of winning or losing. Because I remember hearing stories about Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley. They would bet huge just because it's part of their psyche of winning and losing. They want to win at anything that they do. So
Oh yeah,
a
that's the
lot of
hope
them,
though.
yeah,
Yeah, but Barkley is also like $30 million in debt
I
from
know.
gambling. Chris,
No.
I think he has the highest, at least the highest amount that someone has confessed.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these guys are like Dana White. Like gambling is
He
a problem, right?
he
Like it is a
gambles
problem.
massively. Yeah.
And if you have a lot of money, you need to spend and gamble a lot of money to get the same feeling, right? Because it's again, you're chasing a feeling. Like competitive real like there are professional gamblers. They chase money, right? It becomes all like numbers, right? Like I need to do this to make this much money. I make this much money. I'm done for the day, right? But most people gambling, they're gambling for as a hobby, as a form of entertainment, and that's where that's different, right? That's how you can become. You can lay a bet like Drake on UFC fights that are worth $500,000, right? Because he likes to gamble too,
Oh
and that
God.
he needs to lay a bet like that in order for it to feel like gambling. He can't bet
Mhm.
$100 because it don't feel like gambling when you're making
It's
hundreds
like
of millions of dollars a day, a second, right? Like
yeah,
so, it
it's
just
like
shows you like gambling is vicious at any level because whatever level you're at socioeconomically, you're gonna have to lay a bet that's equal to that in order for it to feel like gambling, to feel fun, to feel enjoyment.
that's true.
So it's like that just shows you it doesn't matter if you're poor or rich. Like gambling is dangerous because if you're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but you bet millions of dollars, very quickly you could be in trouble. Just like the guy who makes 50K a year and he's making $1,000 bets. You know what I mean? Like it's
Hmm.
all relative. It's still the same problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Drake betting $100 is like a dime falling out of his pocket.
It's like nothing. It's
I
like
don't, and I
paying.
don't even think Drake has seen a coin in years, so it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
So anyway,
But the psychological part about betting that I think is the most dangerous. Yes, it can destroy you financially, but what makes it addicting to me is when you bet and you, even if you win, you still lose because you're like, oh man, I just hit this great bet. Look at this payout. Ah man, if I would have just put a little bit more on it,
Yeah.
like you see what
Yep.
I'm saying. So even,
I
and
can
then
see that.
then you start getting in your own head. So when you lose, you're like, damn, I lost all this money. When you win, you're like, what if I would have put a little bit more? I would have got more money. Yeah,
well, and they
that's
also say that
yeah.
like people who gamble a lot, like unconsciously, they want to lose because you actually get more. It's like people who just keep betting and betting, like they win, they win. It's like, why do you keep go? You know what I mean? Like it's a weird thing where you're up so much, and I think they've said like with gambling, it's like because again, it's all in your brain. It's the feelings that you get. Losing gives you a feeling too, right? Winning gives you a feeling, losing gives you a feeling, and what you're doing is chasing a feeling. It's not about money anymore, really. It's about the feeling you get.
Yeah, facts.
But anyway, we've been going for almost an hour and a half. Any final thoughts? Thanks for I appreciate this because like you guys
You
are good
want
people to talk to about this, and it's been bothering me. I'll be honest, it's been
I
bothering
see
me.
that now. I had no
It's been
idea.
bothering me a lot.
you needed a therapy session here.
Yeah, I needed I needed to get some of this out. This poison.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Any
But
final
it's like
thoughts?
you.
Or,
My final thoughts is I hear you, Chris. I feel the same way about like multi-billion-dollar corporations as you do about sports betting. I just can't stand private equity firms. I can't. I get so worked up when I
Same.
think about that.
Same.
But they're also involved in this whole gambling
Yep.
thing,
Yes, they are.
and there's, like both of you have said, there's a boogeyman in the closet that's going to come out at some time with all this, and there a lot of people are going to be in trouble in from all angles.
there'll be a whistleblower. That whistleblower
Yeah.
might end up dead, but yeah, I mean, wherever there's a lot of
Yeah.
money, there's probably some degree of shenanigans. Like it's happening. Like it's guaranteed. So,
Yeah.
all right, ladies and gents, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Draxx Life, and we'll catch you again next time.